Hello, this is King Krusty, and I am going to show you how to put textures in the Rimworld. Um, I'm just going to do this as an OBS recording. I'm not editing it or trying to be fancy or anything. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it. I don't really have a lot of time, but yeah, so don't expect it to be perfect. Probably going to be stumbling. It's probably going to be a shitty video, but I'll try to cut to the chase. So, all right, let's get started. So, I'm going to use GIMP. You can use Photoshop. It doesn't matter. This isn't a Photoshop tutorial or a photo editing tutorial. All right, so I'm going to create a new image. Let's do. Well, first, so let me talk a little bit about what I'm trying to do. So I'm making a mod right now, a rather large mod, but right now I'm working on creating my own like colonist page. When you create a new game and you have your colonists there, and they have a tab for each colonist. So what I was kind of planning on doing is doing like an items portion of it, and I wanted to do a different tab for each items type. Um, and Instead of using the tabs that are built into the game that you can put text on, I wanted to make sort of like icons, like icon tabs. So I figured, yeah, I could just make my own, and it'd be a good example to show um, other people that are wanting to do something like this that haven't done it before. So let's do 256 by 128. Okay, 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 okay. All right, let's alpha the selection. Let's add alpha channel. Alpha to selection. Delete that. Let's get rid of this ugly ass background. There we go. Okay. So select none. Okay. So let's open this layer. Let's do. So somebody had extracted the Rimworld textures from the Unity assets in the game, so you cannot look through the files and find the textures in Rimworld because it's built into the assets. So somebody else had done that. I can't remember their name right now. I'll have to put their name in the video description or something. But I didn't do it. And I'll provide the link as well. So I have those somewhere here. Yeah, okay, here they are. Okay, so I want to look for, what was it? It was widgets, tab atlas. That's what I want. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm not going to make it look perfect. You should never try to make something look perfect the first time anyways. Let's scale this. 256, around 28. Sure. It did anti-aliasing on the edges. That's probably going to make it look like shit when I put it in the game against the menu box, but you're probably going to be able to tell. Or maybe not, I'm not sure. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, so I can fix it later. Let's add another layer, and now I wanted to do weapons first. I seen something. Yeah, this is what I want, drafts. Okay, let's scale this guy. Shit. Lock it. Lock it. There we go. Something like that. Let's line it up. And we're probably going to have to bump it up some. That's fine. Okay, let's do layer, image size. Okay. Now, okay, I just want to do one thing. Let's do a new layer. Alpha to selection on this layer. Go back to the new layer. Let's do a bucket fill. Let's go with red. Select none. Let's take this guy, put it under there. Now let's do, okay, let's duplicate this twice. Let's grab the bottommost layer and let's do a Gaussian blur of like, yeah, 15. Yeah, okay. Now let's do the second layer. Let's do a wind. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Maybe a little too much is spilling over a little bit there. Third layer, let's do the same thing, but let's do it from the opposite direction. Okay, now let's merge these two wind layers, and then let's do another blur on these. Not as much though. Let's go down. I like that. Okay, so I'm not convinced that it's not spun over. Let's do alpha to selection on the tab, and then let's sharpen the selection and let's shrink it by like 5, and then let's invert that and let's go up to the wind layer and delete there. Okay, so that makes that a little more clean. Whatever, this is just an example. This is good enough. Okay, so let's take this, let's export it as PNG, and let's just go ahead and put it right into my mod textures. Okay, so here's my mod folder. Here's my about, my assemblies. So there, you just make a textures folder right here. In order to know to look in the textures folder when you tell it to load a texture, and then the file path inside of textures is arbitrary. That's just to differentiate yours from other people's. It's just good practice. So let's make a new folder, pre-game, and then in here, yeah, it's good. So let's call this weapons tab. Okay, I usually just go with 7 compression level. That's fine. Okay. Alright, so we're done with our example texture here. So let's switch over here to my middle monitor. Let's fire up our studio. Oops. Okay, there it goes. Okay, so I already have a class to take care of my textures. So let's go ahead and, what class was that? That class was my textures bin. Okay. Let me make this bigger. Probably can't see it. Okay, I probably do. All right, so let's go. Let's make the field for it. So public static texture 2D text buttons tab. Okay. And then in the CC tour, I'm calling textures. Okay. So let's load it here. So text weapons tab is equal to, we're going to call content finder. Let's find our texture 2D. What is, I get like a glass or something making noise, annoying the shit out of me. There we go. Okay. Get. So let's look at our parameters here. String item path and report failure. I'm guessing for the error log. So let's do true. So our file path is just going to be what we're going to be looking at inside of our textures folder. So ours, in our case, was it was like a prophecy. Pre-game. Then we called it weapons tab, I think. Let me double check that. I should probably double check that. Better safe than sorry. That is indeed what I call that. Okay. So we are good. So that should work. I don't see why it would not. So where was I putting this? I was working on my PNC card class. So let's take a look at this guy. Method, we're calling card as an items. Okay, so let's do something. Let's do our tabs. So this is gonna be our first tab. So it's gonna be our weapon tab. I'm not gonna think too much about it. It's just an example. So let's just do tabs. Okay, so sure, right here's fine. Okay, let's make private void do tabs. Oh, and we want to use our brain. That's what we want to do. Shape the tab. So let's do rect weapons tab is equal to new rect. And then we want to draw the tab. So we want to do a widgets dot draw something or another. Draw texture fitted. Sure. What are our parameters here? Rect, outer rect, texture 2D, float scale. So, okay. So this is going to be our rect. Our texture 2D is going to be in pro tbin dot texture weapons tab, and then our scale, I'm guessing that zooms it or not, so let's do just let's just do 1. Okay. So yeah, that's how it's done. Okay, so let's see in action. I got some weird shit going on here, so I apologize if this doesn't make a lot of sense. In my mind it does. So what I do is I have these cards, so the cards are drawn in the window, and then so what I do is I position it in reference to the size of the card, and then I add that to the card's rect position. Yeah, this isn't coding tutorial, and I am a really off-kiltered coder as it is, so don't question any of this. I'm just real quick here. So we want to do rect card. This is going to be our x xy height. So it's rect card dot width. Let's just do 0.1. Why not? Rect card dot height times 0.1. Okay. Rect card dot width. So the width and the height. So I can't. So the card's not the same aspect ratio as my texture. So I want my texture to be the same correct aspect ratio. So I can't look at the height. I have to look at the width. Do like okay. So let's just do 0.2, and then let's just do rect card dot height times 0.1, or no, because they're not the same aspect ratio. So let's do okay. So that would be 2 to 1, which is the same as what we just made our texture, 256 by 128. Okay, that way we can avoid doing more math. Okay, so and now this needs to get added in. So I want to do my browser utilities rect edition. And we're going to do rect weapons tab and our card. Okay, that should work. Yeah, should work. It never works first try. Sometimes it does. No errors. Let's fire this bad boy up. Okay. So, yep, there it is. Okay. So there you go. We got a texture in the game. It's a texture that we just created. Now, obviously, that's I'm going to draw. It's way too big. Okay, for one, it needs to be way smaller than that. But then you're going to have the menu box coming off the sides of it here. And you get the tabs like you have in the regular game. And then I've replaced the tabs that usually take care of these guys with cards. But so that is, yep, a basic tutorial to getting textures, making a custom texture, getting it into the game. Okay, have a nice day.